Who is Justin Valassidis? He's a mysterious man. The complexity of his character makes it hard to be sure if he is truly who he appears to be. However, upon examining the traits of the characters and authors that we have studied this past year, as well as spending countless hours in the presence of Mr. V, it is evident that he shares various similarities with them. Through juxtaposing these authors and characters with Mr. V, we can slowly uncover the mystery that is Justin Valassidis.
Through looking at the words of Orwell, it is clear that Mr. V shares similar traits with the writer, although their thoughts do differ in one key idea. While Orwell is an optimist, Mr. V is an idealist. From Orwell's Why I Write, he states that, "I have a desire to push the world in a certain direction, to alter other people's idea of a kind of society they should strive after." An example of this is when he wrote 1984. He was warning people of the dangers of a totalitarian government in the hopes that people would change for the future. However, Mr. V himself is an idealist when, in his interview, he stated that, "I believe you can do more than you are." Unlike Orwell, Mr. V is a visionary who represents things they should be as rather than as they are.
Although they have different outlooks on life, they both demonstrate insecurities and a sense of duty. Orwell, in shooting an elephant, shows he is insecure when he suddenly realized that he would have to shoot the elephant after all. He could feel their 2,000 wills pressing him forward irresistibly. Orwell fears being rejected by the people around him. For example, the action of shooting the elephant exemplifies this insecurity because it is what the people wanted. Mr. V also revealed his insecurity when he claimed that he went into teaching because he was afraid of being a bad lawyer. Another area where the two show their similarities is in their sense of duty. Orwell, in shooting an elephant, states that he hated his job more bitterly than he can perhaps make clear. However, he puts it in his own thoughts aside and continues to do his job to support his country. In the same way, Mr. V comes to work and teaches every day in order to support and provide for his family.
While comparing Mr. V with Mary Shelley, we again discovered both similarities and differences between them. When asked what genre he would write a book in, Mr. V answered that he would write one in the postmodern style, which emphasizes the importance in power, relationships, and personalization. However, Shelley wrote Frankenstein through a romantic lens. She developed themes using romantic traits such as imagination, emotion, and fascination with nature.
Although they write with different styles, Mr. V and Mary Shelley both use a philosophical lens to analyze, construct, and create the characters. Throughout this year, Mr. V taught his sophomore class to search for underlying themes and search deeper into various concepts. Shelley, in her writing, does the same thing and dives into the psyches of the characters in an attempt to explain why they react how they do.
Looking at Victor Frankenstein, similarities and differences can again be identified, like their agreement in the importance of a family contract, and their differing impulsive senses. Victor has a very impulsive character, which is evident through his creation of the creature, without ever thinking of any consequences, either positive or negative. His obsession and determination took over, and he lost all self-control. Mr. V, on the other hand, is a consequentialist, and will not take any action without examining it in detail, and analyzing the consequences and all sides of the situation, as seen through every discussion we've ever had in his class.
Although they differ on that note, they have similar views on the role of family bonds. Victor creates the creature, therefore becoming the creature's only family connection. Although at first he abandons him, he later changes his mind and states, "Did I not as his maker owe him all portion of happiness that is in my power to bestow?" When the creature becomes a threat to Victor's family by blood, it is up to him to protect and avenge them over his creation. Likewise, Mr. V said, "I believe my duty is to protect, provide, instruct, and support my family." Even though they may have different situations, their opinions on family contracts are similar.
The creature and Mr. V, who have seemingly different characteristics, are alike in some ways too. They are different in a sense that the creature is murderous and Mr. V is not. The creature took part in murdering William, Clerval, Elizabeth, and indirectly Justine. Mr. V, however, has not murdered anyone as far as we know. The creature took his malicious intent farther than Mr. V would, we think.
Mr. V and the creature are similar because they are both intimidating in stature and personality. When we interviewed Robby Stehlin, he claimed that he felt the need to pee his pants and roll up in the corner in a fetal position every time Mr. V called on him. Also, his physical stature is compared to about 4 Kristens put together or 6 Cassys. In a like manner, the creature is 8 feet tall and known to be very scary at first sight, which is shown by the reactions of the cottagers who immediately start beating him when they see him in their homes. Also, the two are similar because they are both sadistic. The creature because when he killed William, he said he felt a sense of triumph. Mr. V is sadistic because of this final. Both of these are diabolical schemes that cause others pain and torture.
Lastly, Mr. V can be juxtaposed with, and most easily compared to, the analytical and wise Socrates. Aside from the fact that Mr. V teaches for a living, and in Plato's Apology, Socrates makes it clear that he is not a teacher, they otherwise are very similar. Mr. V religiously lives by Socrates' quote, that the unexamined life is not worth living. This is evident every single day in his class, when he confuses his students with various rhetorical questions that make you consider every side of a situation or idea. Throughout the allegory of a cave, Socrates' belief in this quote and his extreme use of rhetorical questions are clear as he discusses the fear that comes with learning new things. Another compatible trait is their wisdom, which Socrates in the Apology defines as that what he doesn't know, he doesn't think he knows. Mr. V encompasses this, as was shown when we asked him if he was knowledgeable. He said he was to an extent. They are both very humble pertaining to their knowledge, and this makes them wise. It is clear that Mr. V and Socrates are extremely similar, and that Mr. V uses many of the same teaching styles as Socrates.
After an exhausting several hours of examining and comparing all the characters and authors to Mr. V, we have found that he holds similarities and differences with all of them. When we asked the question, who is Mr. V, we found the answer is much more complicated than we thought. He said, I do not hold on to any one idea, instead I look at all of them. So we looked at all the ideas and concluded that Mr. V is not one character, but a mixture of all of them. He is a sassy, analytical man whose philosophies and styles of teaching make every day in class a memorable life experience.